And it depends on why you're doing it. And if you don't know the answer to that yet, then the math doesn't matter yet. Are you doing this for extra money on the side because you already have a job? Are you doing this because you need income right now and you need it fast? Or are you doing this because you actually like the work and you want to build something around it? That's 3 different answers, 3 different versions of is it worth it? And if you can't answer that first question, no number that I give you the next 8 minutes is going to mean anything. So answer that one in your head, and then let's get into the actual numbers. Per Gridwise data in 2025, Uber drivers, they averaged $23.88 per active hour. Lyft drivers, they averaged $22.45 per active hour. Now, there's 2 things that you need to know about that number. And the first one is active hour means when you were actually on a trip. It does not mean those idle miles, the time and miles in between trips. Those are about 30% of your total distance driven. That time does not pay. So if the national average says $23.88 an active hour, your real clocking hour rate is meaningfully lower than that. Trips per hour have dropped compared to a few years ago, which means less time with a passenger and more time in between. Even if the per trip payouts look okay, fewer trips per hour drag your real hourly down. But there are a few bright spots. Tips hit record highs recently, roughly $1.50 per trip on average, and bonus pay is up too. Those extra dollars absolutely matter when you line up a strong surge window or you crush a promo. But here's the problem. Your Uber and Lyft driver app, it only shows you one pretty number. That's gross earnings. That is why you have somebody in your car. It does not show your true hourly after dead time and expenses. That's how you can look busy all week and still feel broke when you sit down and do the math. The squeeze that you're feeling in 2026 didn't come out of nowhere. Over the last year, rider prices for Uber and Lyft went up close to double digits. But the platform's cut. All those service fees, booking fees, and other fees, well, they grew a lot faster than driver pay. Driver gross pay per hour only nudged up a few percent. So basically, riders are paying more, Uber and Lyft are taking a bigger cut, and drivers are getting a smaller piece of that extra money. That's why your passengers complain about prices while your payouts barely move. Now, there is some good news mixed in. Tips per ride hit an all-time high, and bonus pay jumped as well. Those are real gains if you're intentional about when you work and how you stack your promotions. But tips and bonuses are only partially offset higher platform fees and rising costs like gas, maintenance, and insurance. When you zoom out, that net direction for drivers is tighter margins. You have to be a lot more intentional about when you drive, where you drive, and how long you stay online just to keep up. This is where those 3 buckets at the beginning really matter. Is it worth it is a different question for each one. If you've already got a W-2 and Uber and Lyft is just extra income, your bar is lower. You mostly care if the extra money is worth the time away from family, hobbies, or rest, and worth those miles that you're putting on your car. If your honest net hourly after gas, maintenance, and dead time is say $18 an hour and you enjoy being out, that might absolutely be worth it as a side hustle. You still want to be strategic. You want to focus on peak hours, events, and airport rushes. If you're in that I need money now for a bill situation, well, Uber and Lyft are still some of the fastest levers you can pull. You can sign up and you can start earning this week. This flexibility is real. The trade-off is you're spending money to make money. You're burning through miles and gas to cover that emergency. And long term, well, your car is the one that's paying the price. So if this is you, treat rideshare like a short-term tool, not a permanent plan. Set a clear number. I need $400 this week. Hit it and then step back and look at what it actually costs you in hours and miles. And if you generally like driving and talking to riders, and you're using Uber and Lyft as your main income source, you can't just float on standard rides and hope that it works. Not with 2026 economics. Here, worth it depends on having a long-term plan inside rideshare itself. That might mean upgrading your vehicle when it makes sense so you can qualify for higher tier ride types in your market, or eventually moving toward premium or private work if the numbers support it. Day to day, it also means getting very intentional about your schedule, working the right hours, the right days, and leaning into events, airport rushes, and proven hot zones instead of random online times. The trap in 2026 is doing only random rides at random hours on a single app. The drivers who make Uber and Lyft work now are the ones who treat it like a real business. They know their numbers. They experiment with different time blocks, areas, and they keep adjusting their strategy as the market changes. Now, let's strip the emotion out and actually answer the question for you with a quick checklist you can do after this video. First thing, pull your Uber and Lyft earnings. Look at your last few weeks and write down your gross per active hour, the hours that you were on trips, not just logged in. Second, figure out your real cost per mile. Take your total rideshare miles, including deadheading and positioning, and multiply it by a realistic cost per mile that covers fuel, maintenance, tires, and depreciation. Use a number around a standard mileage rate as a floor and adjust based on your vehicle. 4. Compare that hourly to your goal. If that honest hourly is comfortably above what you can make somewhere else, and it fits your life in your bucket, extra, emergency, or building, then yes, in 2026, Uber and Lyft might still be worth it for you. If it's below your goal, something has to change. Either when you drive, where you drive, what you drive, or how you use each app. All right, is driving Uber and Lyft still worth it in 2026? For some drivers, absolutely. For others, the honest math says it's not even close. The national averages and headlines, they can't answer that for you. Your reasons for driving and your own numbers do. That's why tracking everything, hours, trips, miles, and expenses all in one place is so important. When you can see your real per hour and per mile over a full month instead of guessing off a couple of good surge nights, the is it worth it question finally has a clear answer for you as an Uber and Lyft driver. And if you want a simple way to get those answers, try the GridWise app. It pulls together your Uber and Lyft earnings, it tracks your mileage automatically, and it shows you exactly what you're actually making per hour and per mile so you can decide whether rideshare still fits your goals.